One day, while perusing my Xbox game library, I stopped by to see if there were any free games with gold out, and much to my pleasure, I saw Oxenfree there. I immediately started to download and eagerly waited for it to finish. I'd heard so many good things about Oxenfree and couldn't wait to dig into it. I finally started it up and hopefully went on my way into the game. And well, I was underwhelmed, frustrated, annoyed, and overall just disappointed that the game didn't live up to the hype surrounding it. One of the things I heard was so great about Oxenfree was the natural teenage dialogue that it had. And while it worked well in some ways, ultimately it just kind of fell flat. First of all, I never knew when Alex would interrupt a conversation with her input or wait for a break in the conversation and make it head in a completely different direction, which made me hesitant to say anything at all. And of course, it had the usual problems that dialogue trees have. There's not always the response you want, you don't always say what you think you're going to, and sometimes I couldn't even read all the responses in the allotted time, and so I couldn't say anything. This might just be me though, because I am a bit of a slow reader. Anyway, most of the time I wanted something just a little bit different than what the game was offering to me. And a lot of those dialogue problems were accompanied by long, boring walks. The game pacing is very slow. Well, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but with the annoying dialogue and the uninteresting story, I was bored for a good portion of the game. The main plot was what turned me off most to Oxenfree. Well, there were certainly good portions, Alex and Jonas getting to know each other, and Alex and Michael's relationship were great. I didn't really care to find out what was going on. I just wanted to get off the island. I felt no reason to explore and figure out what was going on. I didn't care about the sci-fi portions of the story, I cared about the relationships, and I just wanted more of that. But to get that, I had to trudge through more weird sci-fi stuff I wasn't the least bit interested in. It certainly didn't help that the characters were bland and largely uninteresting. You had Nona, who I honestly don't remember a thing about because she was so forgettable, uninteresting, and underutilized. The annoying brownie guy who can't forgive you for wanting to talk to your new brother alone. He isn't the worst guy in the world. He's kind of funny at some portions, but he's a bit of a douche. Red Hat Girl, the villain, who I'm not sure if I'm supposed to hate, tolerate, or love by the end. And Alex, who I only cared about because I cared about Jonas and Michael. I also ran into some bugs in my playthrough. I'd randomly get stuck somewhere, or nothing would happen, which made me have to restart the game a few times, which was super frustrating. I think Oxenfree is overrated, but I don't think that it's a bad game. It does a lot of things poorly in my opinion, but it also does some things very right. The art in this game is beautiful. The bright colors of the optimistic opening and hopeful ending contrast beautifully with the dark, grimy color palette of the island on a cool fall night. And I really loved some of the characters. Jonas was great, and I really enjoyed watching Alex and Jonas bond throughout the game. Although I didn't much care for what they did with Jonas in the epilogue. And Michael, my favorite character. I absolutely love him as a character. He created good tension in the group with Jonas not knowing what had happened to him, and Alex reluctant to share. And it warmed my heart when he and Alex were talking about life back at their house. His cheerfulness and his uncertainty for the future was so heartwarming and fantastic. And the ending was good, for the most part. Now, of course the game does have multiple endings, so you might get a different experience than I did. But I wish it would have ended soon. Right after the ferry ride when Alex is talking about what everyone else went on to do, that's where I wish it had stopped. But instead it dove back into this sci-fi story that I really didn't care about, and left me with questions that made me uncertain of what happened, and thus uncertain of what I really did care about. Alex and Michael. So overall, I was let down by Oxenfree. The main story was uninteresting to me, and overall there was little I actually cared about within the game. It does have good things to offer, but I don't think it does those things well enough to warrant the amount of praise it's gotten. But what do you think? Do you love Oxenfree? Am I dead wrong about it? Tell me your opinions of Oxenfree in the comments below. I want to hear your opinion. Thanks for watching, you're a fantastic human being, and have a good day.